The alien ships appeared in Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. They were beautiful, sleek vessels that moved through space like silver fish through water. Humanity had been waiting for this moment ever since the first radio signal had arrived 6 months ago. First contact. The day everything would change. Captain Lisa Morgan stood in the observation deck of the orbital station, watching the alien vessels dock. She was a military officer, trained for combat, but today she wore her dress uniform and tried to look diplomatic. Beside her stood Ambassador Kelvin, a career politician who had somehow ended up as humanity's voice to the stars. General Hayes was there too, his weathered face showing no emotion as the airlock hissed open. The aliens called themselves Zephyrians. They looked like giant insects, with multiple limbs and compound eyes that seemed to look in every direction at once. Their leader spoke through a translation device that turned their clicking sounds into words humans could understand. The Zephyrian ambassador explained that humanity was being welcomed into something called the Galactic community. There were hundreds of species out there traveling between stars, trading, talking, living together in a vast network of civilizations. Earth was the newest member, and the Zephyrians had come bearing a gift. Lisa felt excitement rise in her chest. A gift from an advanced alien race could be anything. Technology that could cure diseases, engines that could take humans to distant stars, knowledge that could transform civilization. What they got was a starship, but not a new one, not even a good one. The Zephyrian ambassador gestured to a viewing screen, and Lisa saw the vessel hanging in space outside. It was massive, easily 3 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. The hull was made of some strange metal that seemed to shift colors in the light. The design was alien, asymmetrical in a way that hurt to look at for too long. The ambassador explained that the ship was called the Wandering Echo. She had served in something called the Void Wars 300 years ago. She had been damaged badly and was now too expensive to repair. The Zephyrians were giving her to humanity as a welcoming gift. Lisa pulled up the technical data on her tablet and felt her stomach sink. The ship was falling apart. Most of the engines did not work. The weapons were completely destroyed. The life support systems barely functioned. The power core was cracked and leaking radiation that humans did not even have a name for. Next to her, Commander Greg Sullivan whispered, "They gave us space junk." But Ambassador Kelvin smiled and thanked the aliens graciously. He talked about how honored humanity was, how much they would learn from this incredible gift. The Zephyrians seemed pleased. They left a few basic instruction manuals and some old maintenance robots, then departed within hours. As soon as the alien ships vanished from Earth's sensors, the real work began. General Hayes called an emergency meeting. The Wandering Echo was towed to the far side of the moon, where humanity's biggest shipyard waited. Lisa stood in the conference room surrounded by military officers and scientists. The holographic display showed the alien ship from every angle, highlighting the damage in red. There was a lot of red. General Hayes did not mince words. "They dumped their trash on us and called it charity. This ship is worthless." Lisa walked around the hologram, studying it carefully. She had spent her entire career in the military, working on ships and stations. She understood machinery, understood how things worked, and despite all the damage, despite all the broken systems, she saw something else. "The frame is solid," she said quietly. "The hull is intact, and these systems, even broken, are more advanced than anything we have. Can we fix it?" Ambassador Kelvin asked. Lisa laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Fix it? We barely understand how it works. These manuals they left assume we already know things we have never even heard of. It's like giving a caveman a computer and a repair guide." "So what do we do?" General Hayes demanded. Lisa looked at the ship again, at all that red showing the damage, at all the impossible technology, at the challenge that everyone said could not be met. And she felt something stir inside her. The same stubbornness that had gotten her through military training, through combat, through every impossible situation she had ever faced. "We do what humans always do," she said. "We figure it out, we improvise, we make it work." The general studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Then you are in charge of this project, Captain. Pick your team. You have whatever resources you need. Make this ship fly. Lisa assembled her team over the next week. She chose people who were brilliant but also practical. People who did not give up when things got hard. There was Danny Hoffman, a physicist who understood quantum mechanics better than anyone on Earth. Betty Cross, a materials scientist who had designed the alloys used on Mars. Kevin Liu, a computer expert who could make any system talk to any other system. And Pete Sanders, a gruff old engineer who had kept submarines running with duct tape and spare parts. They met for the first time in the cargo bay of the Wandering Echo. The alien ship was cold inside, the air filled with strange smells. The machinery around them hummed with power that was slowly leaking away. Everything was huge, built for creatures larger than humans. Pete looked around and shook his head. This is impossible. We cannot fix this. Probably, Lisa agreed. But we are going to try anyway. Danny touched one of the alien panels, and it lit up with symbols no one could read. Where do we even start? Lisa pulled out her tablet, which now contained all the technical data they had. We start by understanding what is broken. Then we figure out how to fix it with what we have. We cannot build their technology, so we will use ours. We will adapt, modify, and make this ship work our way. Betty looked skeptical. You want to combine human technology with alien systems? That should not work. Should not work and will not work are different things, Lisa replied. The aliens think we are primitives who will be grateful for their garbage. Let us show them what human engineering can do. Over the next few weeks, the team began to explore every system on the ship. They mapped the damage, studied the alien technology, and started planning. It was slow, frustrating work. Nothing made sense at first. The alien engineering followed rules that seemed impossible. But gradually, patterns emerged. The team began to understand, not how everything worked, but how things connected, where power flowed, how systems talked to each other, and most importantly, where they could plug in human technology to replace what was broken. Lisa knew they had a long road ahead. The galactic community thought they had given humanity a generous gift. They had no idea they had just given humanity a challenge, and humans loved challenges. The Wandering Echo hung in the lunar shipyard, dark and broken. But inside her hull, human minds were already working, already planning, already refusing to accept that anything was truly impossible. The real work was about to begin. 3 months had passed since the team started working on the Wandering Echo. The ship's main engineering bay had become a chaotic workshop that would have horrified any alien engineer. Human equipment was everywhere, connected to alien systems with cables and welds and what Pete called creative problem-solving. Pete Sanders sat on the floor surrounded by tools, welding a human power coupling to an alien energy conduit. Sparks flew around him and the smell of hot metal filled the air. Danny Hoffman stood nearby, holding a scanner and shaking his head. This should not work, Danny said for what must have been the 100th time. The frequencies are completely wrong. The energy types do not match. According to physics, this should explode. Pete did not look up from his work. Should not and does not are two different things. Hand me that wrench. That was the human approach in a nutshell. The aliens had elegant solutions for everything. Single systems that did exactly what they were designed to do. But humans did not have those systems, so they had to improvise. They used redundancy, brute force, and a complete willingness to ignore what the instruction manual said. The biggest problem was the power core. It was cracked and leaking exotic radiation. The containment field that kept it stable had failed, and the precise gravitational balance needed to run it was impossible to recreate with human technology. The alien manual said the core was beyond repair and would need complete replacement. Betty Cross looked at the problem differently. If they could not fix the alien reactor, they would work around it. She designed a framework that surrounded the broken core with 6 human fusion reactors. They would not fix the alien system, but they would supplement it, contain the radiation leaks, and distribute power to the ship. Think of it like a cast on a broken arm, Betty explained during a video call with Earth Command, except the cast is also providing support, carrying weight, and is actually stronger than the original bone in some places. The Oversight Committee did not look convinced, but they approved the plan. What choice did they have? It was try something crazy or give up. Kevin Liu tackled the computer systems with similar creativity. The ship's artificial intelligence had been completely destroyed during the war that damaged it. The crystal processors were intact but dead, like a brain without thoughts. Trying to restart them using alien methods was beyond human capability. Instead, Kevin built a bridge between human computers and the alien hardware. He created an interface layer that translated human commands into something the alien systems could understand. It was slow and inefficient, but it worked. Our computers speak English to the interface, he explained to Lisa during a progress meeting. The interface translates that into alien language and sends it to their systems. Then it translates the response back. It is clunky, but it works. The result was something unprecedented, a hybrid intelligence that combined human flexibility with alien processing power. The ship did not think like it had originally, but it could think, and in some ways it was more creative than before. The weapons systems were the biggest challenge. The original armaments were completely gone, leaving empty mounting points all over the hull. The Zephyrians had used plasma weapons that humans could not even begin to replicate. The technology was simply too far beyond human science. Commander Greg Sullivan had an idea during one of the design reviews. He had been assigned to the project as military liaison and had grown fascinated watching the engineers work. "Stop trying to copy their weapons," he said. "Build ours instead." What followed was probably the craziest part of the entire project. The team started mounting human weapons on the alien ship, railguns that used magnetic acceleration to fire projectiles at incredible speeds, missile batteries loaded with conventional explosives, laser arrays that were individually weak but numerous, coil guns that used electromagnetic coils to launch metal slugs. Each weapon was primitive compared to galactic standards, but there were hundreds of them, all drawing power from the hybrid reactor system, all coordinated by Kevin's computer network. Danny had to run calculations to make sure the ship's structure could handle the recoil from the railguns. It required reinforcing several sections with titanium steel alloys from Earth. The result was a ship that looked patchwork, with smooth alien hull plating interrupted by angular human weapon mounts. "She looks like she was built in someone's garage," Pete observed while reviewing the external cameras. "She was," Lisa replied with a tired smile. "Just a really big garage." The propulsion system was another nightmare. The alien quantum fold drives could manipulate space itself to achieve faster-than-light travel. They were beautiful, elegant, and 90% broken. The team managed to get one of the 7 drive modules working, but it barely provided enough thrust to move the massive ship. Betty's solution was to attach chemical rocket boosters to the aft section. Huge, powerful engines that burned conventional fuel. They looked ridiculous, like ancient Apollo rockets welded to a spacecraft from the future. They could not achieve faster than light speeds, but they could push the ship around in normal space. "For traveling between stars, we will have to use the quantum drive," Danny explained during a propulsion test. "It will be slow compared to modern ships. We are talking hours or days instead of minutes, but it beats being stuck in one place." As month 6 arrived, the Wandering Echo was no longer recognizable as a Zephyrian vessel. She had become something new, a fusion of human determination and alien technology, held together by welds and improvisation and sheer stubbornness. Lisa stood in the rebuilt command center, looking at displays that showed both human and alien readouts. The ship hummed around her with a sound that combined alien whispers and human rumbles. Her crew had grown from 5 people to 50. A mix of military personnel and civilian engineers who had become the ship's first operators. "Status report," Lisa called out. Responses came from stations around the bridge. Betty reported from engineering that power systems were at 78% and stable. Kevin announced that navigation computers were online with full access to alien star charts. Commander Sullivan reported that all 743 weapons were armed and ready. Danny confirmed that life support was at 92% capacity, better than the original specifications. Lisa took a deep breath. They had done it. They had taken a ship everyone said was beyond repair and made it functional. Not the way the aliens would have done it, but functional nonetheless. "I think it is time for a test flight," she said. "Plot a course to the outer system. Let us see what this thing can actually do." The crew began preparing for departure. Outside the ship, the few remaining yard workers cleared the area. Earth Command had been notified and was watching carefully. This was it. The moment of truth. The Wandering Echo's engines powered up. The hybrid reactors fed energy through human and alien systems. The chemical rockets ignited with a roar that echoed through the lunar shipyard. And slowly, carefully, the massive ship began to move. She was clumsy at first, like a person learning to walk. But as the crew got used to the controls, as the systems balanced and adjusted, she began to move with purpose. The quantum drive engaged with a sound like singing crystals, and space itself seemed to ripple around the hull. Lisa watched the moon fall away behind them, then Earth, then the sun growing smaller. They were flying, actually flying. A ship that should never have worked was carrying them toward the outer solar system. All systems stable, Betty reported. No critical failures. She is holding together. Navigation is responsive, Kevin added. The quantum drive is functioning within acceptable parameters. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. They had proven everyone wrong. The galactic community thought they were giving humanity garbage. Instead, they had given humanity a challenge. And humans had met that challenge in the most human way possible. They had refused to quit. They had improvised. They had made it work. The Wandering Echo flew on into the dark. No longer a decommissioned wreck, but something new. Something uniquely human. The distress call came through during the Wandering Echo's shakedown cruise near the edge of the solar system. The ship had been performing perfectly for 2 weeks, running tests and drills while the crew learned to work together. Everyone was starting to relax, starting to believe they had actually pulled off the impossible. Kevin Liu was monitoring the communication systems when his console lit up with alerts. "Captain Morgan," he called out, his voice tight. "We are receiving a distress signal. It is from a galactic community vessel. They say they are under attack." Lisa was in the command center within seconds. She had been reviewing supply reports in her quarters but moved fast when she heard the urgency in Kevin's voice. The rest of the bridge crew looked up from their station, suddenly alert. "Put it on speakers," Lisa ordered. The message was garbled, filtered through translation software that struggled with panic. "This is the merchant vessel Prophet's Promise. We are under attack by Krell raiders. 3 warships. Our shields are failing. We have 200 civilians aboard. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need immediate help." The voice cut off, replaced by static and what sounded like explosions in the background. "Distance?" Lisa asked sharply. Commander Sullivan checked his tactical display. 4 million kilometers. At maximum acceleration, we can reach them in 30 minutes. Danny Hoffman turned in his chair. "Captain, we are not a warship. We have not even run full weapons tests yet. We do not know if we can actually fight." Lisa understood his concern. They had weapons, lots of them, but they had never fired them in actual combat. The Wandering Echo was still experimental, still being figured out. Taking her into battle was risky, but that voice on the radio had been desperate. 200 civilians, families, people about to die. "Battle stations," Lisa ordered. "Pete, I need every bit of power you can give me." Kevin, plot the fastest course. "Betty, make sure our structure can handle combat stress. Greg, get every weapon on this ship ready to fire." Sullivan grinned as his hands flew across his console. "Finally. Been wanting to see what our toys can do." The Wandering Echo surged forward. The chemical rockets pushed her to speeds that made the deck plates vibrate. The quantum drive engaged, not for faster than light travel, but to reduce the space between them and the battle. Through the view screen, stars streaked past in ways that made no physical sense. They dropped out of their acceleration burn right into chaos. The Prophet's Promise was a beautiful ship shaped like a silver fish, graceful even as it died. 3 smaller vessels surrounded it, angular and aggressive, painted in harsh reds and blacks. The Krell raiders. Their weapons fire appeared as brilliant blue beams that hammered against the transport's flickering shields. "Krell vessels are turning toward us," Kevin reported. "I think we surprised them." Lisa took a breath. "First contact with hostile aliens. This was it. Open a channel. Tell them to stand down and move away from the transport." The response came quickly in heavily accented Standard Galactic that dripped with contempt. "Human ship? The new primitives? You have no authority here. Leave now or be destroyed like that merchant trash." Lisa looked at Sullivan. He raised his eyebrows in a silent question. She nodded once. "Light them up," she said quietly. What happened next would be talked about across the galaxy for years. The Wandering Echo did not fire like a normal warship. Normal warships had coordinated plasma cannons or particle beams. They fired in elegant volleys. demonstrating military precision and the refined art of space combat that had been developed over thousands of years. The wandering Echo opened fire like a human would fight. With overwhelming, brutal, unrestrained violence, 743 weapons fired at the same time. Railgun slugs crossed the distance in heartbeats, traveling at a fraction of light speed. Missile batteries launched swarms of projectiles. Laser arrays created a web of coherent light. Coilgun rounds followed their own paths, timed to arrive with everything else. The lead Krell Raider simply stopped existing. Its shields were designed to deflect or absorb energy weapons. They provided no protection against solid metal moving at relativistic speeds. The hull ruptured in dozens of places before the ship's power core exploded, adding its own destruction to the chaos. The second Raider tried to run. Its engines flared as it attempted to escape. But the wandering Echo's targeting systems tracked it effortlessly. The alien sensors combined with human fire control computers working in perfect sync. Another volley launched. This time the railgun fire was staggered, each impact calculated to collapse shields before the next strike hit bare hull. The Raider tumbled away, venting atmosphere and debris, dead in space. The third Krell ship did not even try to fight. Its commander saw 2 vessels destroyed in less than 30 seconds. The Raider's faster-than-light drive activated, and the ship vanished in a flash of warped space. Silence filled the wandering Echo's command center. The crew stared at their displays, trying to process what had just happened. They had been in combat for less than a minute. 2 enemy ships destroyed, 1 fleeing, and the wandering Echo had not even been scratched. Holy Mother of God! Pete's voice came over the intercom from engineering. Did we just do that? Lisa realized her hands were shaking. She forced herself to breathe normally. Damage report. Betty's response was professional, hiding whatever emotion she was feeling. Minor stress fractures on Deck 7 from railgun recoil. Structural integrity fields held but barely. We need to recalibrate before firing full salvos again. Also, we used 40% of our ammunition reserves. We built ammunition reserves? Danny asked, sounding surprised. Sullivan grinned. I got creative with the cargo bays. Figured we might need them. Lisa activated the communication channel to the transport. Her voice was steadier than she felt. This is Captain Lisa Morgan of the human vessel Wandering Echo. Do you require assistance? The response was delayed, as if the crew could not believe what they had witnessed. This is Captain Venn of the Prophet's Promise. Human vessel. We have wounded and our drive systems are damaged, but first I must ask, what kind of weapons are those? I have never seen anything like that attack. The kind that work, Lisa replied. Stand by, we are sending repair teams and medical personnel. Over the next hours, the Wandering Echo's crew helped the damaged transport. Human medics treated wounded aliens. Engineers patched holes in the hull and got the transport's engines working again. Throughout it all, the alien crew kept staring at the human ship with something like awe, mixed with fear. Captain Venn spoke with Lisa privately before the Prophet's Promise departed. The alien captain looked like a tall lizard with 4 arms and scales that changed color with emotion. Right now they were showing colors that the translation software said meant respect and gratitude. You saved over 200 lives today, Venn said. But I must warn you, what you did, how you fought, it will spread through the galaxy. The Krell are not a major power, but they have friends, and everyone will hear about a human ship destroying 2 raiders in seconds. Is that a bad thing? Lisa asked. Venn's scales shifted to a color that might have meant uncertainty. That depends on your perspective. The galaxy has rules for warfare. Conventions developed over millennia. You just broke all of them. Some will see you as heroes. Others will see you as dangerous, unpredictable primitives. We were just defending civilians, I know, and I am grateful. But understand this, Captain Morgan. The galaxy is not used to humans, not used to your methods. You fight in ways we stopped using thousands of years ago, and somehow you make it terrifyingly effective. That will change things. After the Prophet's Promise jumped away to safety, Lisa sat alone in her quarters. Her hands had finally stopped shaking. They had won their first battle. Saved lives, proven the Wandering Echo could fight, but Captain Venn's warning echoed in her mind. The galaxy had rules. Humans had just shown they did not follow those rules. Whether that was good or bad, only time would tell. Outside her window, space stretched away in all directions, full of stars and civilizations that humanity was only beginning to understand. The Wandering Echo hung in that darkness, a ship that should never have flown, crewed by people who did things their own way. The galaxy was about to learn what that meant. News of the engagement spread through the galactic community faster than anyone expected. Within a week, every major civilization knew that humans, the newest and supposedly most primitive members, had destroyed 2 Krell raiders with contemptuous ease. The story grew with each retelling, becoming legend. The Zephyrians were among the first to respond. Ambassador clicking of mandibles appeared on the communication screen in Lisa's quarters. His mandibles worked in what the improved translation software now identified as agitation, mixed with disbelief. "Captain Morgan," the ambassador began, his mechanical voice carrying something that might have been shock. "We have received disturbing reports about the vessel we gifted to your people. Reports that claim you destroyed 2 combat-capable ships in less than 1 minute." Lisa sat at her desk, having expected this call. "The reports are accurate, Ambassador. We encountered Krell raiders attacking a civilian transport. We intervened, but the Wandering Echo was decommissioned, deemed beyond combat capability. We gave you a broken ship."
"How is this possible?"
Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "Ambassador, your people gave us a broken ship. We fixed it. Maybe not the way you would have, but we fixed it." There was a long pause. "We saw footage from the Prophet's promise. Your weapons are primitive, kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives. Such things have not been standard military equipment for thousands of years. They should not be effective against modern shielding." Commander Sullivan leaned into view. "They are effective when you use enough of them fast enough, Ambassador. Quantity has a quality all its own." The ambassador's mandibles clicked rapidly. "The Galactic Council will want to speak with you about this. What you have done is unprecedented, concerning but also impressive." After the call ended, Lisa knew their quiet time was over. The galaxy was watching now, and the galaxy had opinions. Over the following months, the Wandering Echo became something between a legend and a nightmare, depending on who was telling the story. The galactic community had refined warfare over thousands of years. There were rules, conventions, established doctrines, elegant plasma exchanges at reasonable distances, shield-to-shield combat, where victory went to those with superior energy management and tactics, wars that were almost choreographed in their predictability. Humans did not fight like that. Humans fought to win. The second engagement came when the Wandering Echo was escorting a convoy of merchant ships through a region known for pirate activity. Earth Command had officially commissioned the vessel into service, and escort duty was considered good training for the crew. The pirate battle group appeared without warning. 4 warships, professional marauders who had operated in the region for decades. They were too quick and too well organized for local authorities to catch. Their ships were modern, their tactics proven. They made the mistake of treating the Wandering Echo like a normal escort vessel. In standard galactic naval combat, escorts engaged attackers while the convoy ran. It was a delaying action, a sacrifice that bought time for valuable merchant ships to escape. The Wandering Echo did not retreat. She did not delay. She accelerated directly toward the attackers. "They are coming right at us," Pete observed from engineering, watching power distribution readouts. "Are we crazy?" "Probably," Lisa replied calmly from the command center. "Greg, what is your firing solution?" Sullivan checked his console. "Still 60 seconds outside optimal range by galactic standards. But those are their standards, not ours. We can fire any time, Captain." "Then let us give them something to think about. All batteries fire." The pirates had modern shields. Their technology was current, maintained properly. Their tactics refined through years of successful raids. They confidently held formation, expecting the human ship to engage in a standard energy weapon duel at range. The first railgun rounds struck the lead ship's shields. The shields held, designed to dissipate energy across their surface. But kinetic energy does not dissipate cleanly. The shields flickered, their generators straining under the sustained bombardment. Before they could recharge, more rounds arrived. Then missiles. Their warheads not exotic but filled with human high explosives that detonated with raw chemical fury. Then the lasers. Continuous beams that individually were weak but collectively found every stress point in the wavering shields. The lead ship's shields collapsed under the assault. What followed was not a clean military destruction but brutal disassembly. The ship did not explode so much as come apart, hull plates ripping free, internal systems exposed to vacuum, atmosphere venting in frozen clouds. The other 3 pirate ships broke formation immediately. They did not try to fight. They did not try to recover their comrade. All three activated faster than light drives and fled the system in different directions. They are running, Kevin announced, tracking the jump signatures. All three jumped out. They are gone. Convoy status, Lisa asked. Untouched, Captain, came the reply from the convoy leader. Human ship, we are in your debt. That was the most terrifying display of combat I have ever witnessed. Those pirates have raided this route for 20 years. You destroyed them in seconds. Word spread further. Humans, the galactic community learned, did not just have one strange warship. They had humans crewing that warship, and humans fought in ways that violated every expectation of civilized warfare. They used weapons that should have been obsolete. They attacked with aggression that seemed reckless. They refused to follow the established rules of engagement, and somehow, terrifyingly, it worked. The Galactic Fleet eventually requested a formal meeting. Admiral Kethvar, a distinguished officer from the Vorgon species, arrived aboard his flagship at a neutral space station. He wanted to observe the wandering Echo and speak with her captain. Lisa met him in a conference room carefully designed to be neutral territory. The Admiral was huge, easily 3 meters tall, with blue-gray skin and eyes that held intelligence and experience. He moved with the confidence of someone who had commanded fleets in real battles. Captain Morgan, the Admiral began, his voice deep and resonant. Your ship has caused quite a disturbance in established military thinking. We simply defend ourselves and those who request our help, Lisa replied carefully, aware she was speaking to someone who commanded forces across multiple star systems. Your weapons are anachronistic. Kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives have not been standard equipment for thousands of years in most militaries. Yet you have achieved combat effectiveness that rivals vessels with 10 times your technological sophistication. How? Lisa considered her answer carefully. We use what we have, Admiral. We cannot build your plasma cannons or particle beams, so we build our weapons, and we use them in ways that work for us. Kethvar leaned forward. You use them without restraint. Without following established protocols, you attack with an aggression that most species abandoned millennia ago. Is that wrong? The Admiral was quiet for a moment. Wrong? No. Disturbing? Yes. Effective? Extremely. Captain, do you know what would happen if humanity built a fleet of ships like yours? Lisa met his gaze. We are working on it slowly. Building starships is expensive. One ship, the Admiral repeated slowly. Just one ship and you have disrupted pirate operations throughout 3 sectors. Krell raiders avoid regions where the wandering Echo operates. Marauder groups have changed their patrol routes. You have accomplished what local defense forces could not do in years. Commander Sullivan, who had accompanied Lisa, spoke up. Admiral, are we in trouble for this? Kethvar's expression, alien as it was, showed something that looked like respect. Trouble? No, the Galactic Fleet is impressed, and we would like to extend an invitation. We have member species from across the community serving in our forces. We would welcome human participation. Your tactical approaches are unconventional, but they are undeniably effective. We could learn from each other. It was an offer Lisa had been authorized to accept. Earth's government saw the value in having representation in the galaxy's primary military force. We would be honored, Admiral. Good, but Captain, I must warn you. Not everyone in the galaxy sees humanity as we do. Some view your methods as barbaric, dangerous. They fear what humans might become with more advanced technology and more ships. Be careful. The galaxy is watching you very closely now. After the meeting, Lisa stood alone on the observation deck of the space station. Through the transparent aluminum, she could see the wandering Echo docked nearby. The ship looked even more patchwork now, with new modifications and repairs visible across her hull. She was ugly, asymmetrical, a clear fusion of 2 very different technologies, but she was also feared, respected, effective. The galaxy was watching humanity now, watching to see what they would do next, whether they would integrate peacefully or become a threat. Lisa knew one thing for certain. Humans would do it their way, following their own path, making their own rules, because that was what humans did best. 18 months after the Wandering Echo's restoration, Lisa Morgan found herself back at Earth, standing in the observation lounge of the newly expanded orbital shipyard. Below her, the planet rotated slowly, blue and green and beautiful. Above her, hanging in the construction framework, was something unprecedented, the first human-designed starship. They had named her Defiant, She was smaller than the Wandering Echo, built from the ground up using everything humanity had learned from restoring the alien vessel. Her hull was human steel and composite armor. Her engines were a hybrid design that combined reverse-engineered alien quantum drives with human engineering. Her weapons were pure human, hundreds of railguns and missile batteries and laser arrays built into her structure from the beginning. Unlike the Wandering Echo, she did not look like a patchwork. She looked purposeful, aggressive, like a warship designed by people who understood exactly what they wanted. "She is beautiful," Betty Cross said, standing beside Lisa. The materials scientist had become the chief engineer for the new ship program. "Strange to think 2 years ago we were welding human systems onto alien tech with no idea if it would work. And now we are building our own," Danny Hoffman added from Lisa's other side. He had been promoted to head of propulsion research. "The quantum drives still give me headaches, but we understand them now. Mostly." Pete Sanders approached with coffee for everyone. The old engineer looked tired but satisfied. "Got word from Earth Command. They are planning 4 more ships after Defiant, maybe 8 if the budget allows. We are building a fleet." Lisa accepted the coffee gratefully. A fleet. 2 years ago, humanity had 1 broken alien ship. Now they were building their own starships, combining human and alien technology in ways no one had ever attempted before. Commander Greg Sullivan joined the group, looking excited. "Captain, you need to see this. The training simulations for Defiant's crew just finished. The tactical scenarios we ran, and," Lisa asked, "and she performs 30% better than the Wandering Echo in ship-to-ship combat. Faster, more maneuverable, more firepower per ton. The design team did incredible work." Kevin Liu arrived last, as always absorbed in his data pad. "The computer systems are revolutionary. We have successfully integrated human AI with alien processing architecture. The result is a hybrid intelligence that combines human intuition with alien computational speed. Every ship we build will be smarter than the last." Lisa looked at her team. These people had taken an impossible task and made it reality. They had proven that humanity could compete with civilizations thousands of years more advanced. Not by copying those civilizations, but by being themselves. "Earth Command wants me to oversee the training program for the new crews," Lisa said, "teaching them everything we learned the hard way. I am supposed to report next week." "Are you taking the assignment?" Betty asked. Lisa considered. She loved the Wandering Echo. The ship had become home over the past 2 years. Her crew was family. But humanity needed more ships, more crews, more people who understood how to make impossible things work. "I think I have to," she replied. "But the Wandering Echo needs a captain." "Greg, how do you feel about a promotion?" Sullivan's eyes widened. "Me, captain? You know the ship as well as anyone. You have combat experience. You understand how we fight. The crew respects you. I cannot think of anyone better." Sullivan looked at the Wandering Echo through the observation window. The ship hung in space nearby, scarred and patched and utterly unique. "It would be an honor, Captain." Over the next week, preparations began for the transition. Lisa would move to Earth to oversee training operations. Sullivan would take command of the Wandering Echo. The ship would continue serving with the Galactic Fleet, her reputation now known across dozens of star systems. On her last night aboard, Lisa walked the corridors alone. She ran her hand along the walls where human steel met alien alloy. Every patch, every modification, every improvised solution told a story. The story of how humanity refused to quit, how they took something broken and made it legendary. She ended up in engineering, where it had all begun. Pete was there, as always, checking systems and making small adjustments. He looked up when she entered. "Going to miss having you aboard, Captain," he said quietly. "I will miss being here," Lisa replied. "This ship, this crew, we did something special. We showed the galaxy that humans do not give up," Pete agreed. "They gave us trash and we made it into something they fear and respect." "Not fear," Lisa corrected. "Not really. Respect, yes. Understanding that we do things differently," Pete smiled. "Different is one word for it. Crazy is another. But it worked." The next morning, Lisa stood in the hangar bay with her personal belongings, waiting for the shuttle that would take her to Earth. The crew had assembled to see her off. 50 people who had become her family over 2 years of impossible challenges and unlikely victories. She gave a short speech, thanking them for their dedication and skill. reminding them that what they had accomplished together would be remembered, that the Wandering Echo had changed everything. Then she saluted Commander Sullivan, now Captain Sullivan, and transferred command officially. The crew saluted back and Lisa felt tears threatening. She blinked them away. The shuttle ride to Earth gave her time to think. 2 years ago, the galactic community had given humanity a broken ship. They had thought they were being generous to primitives who would be grateful for scraps. They never imagined those primitives would turn that broken gift into something formidable. The Wandering Echo had become more than a ship. She had become a symbol, a declaration that humanity had arrived in the galaxy and would never be underestimated again. She had proven that human ingenuity, human determination, and human unwillingness to accept impossible as an answer could compete with any technology in the cosmos. Lisa's new office at Earth Command was spacious and official and felt wrong. She missed the cramped quarters on the ship, the constant hum of machinery, the smell of recycled air and ozone. But she had work to do. The first class of trainees arrived the following week. 300 people from around the world, selected to crew humanity's new starships. They were young and eager and had no idea what they were getting into. Lisa stood before them in a massive auditorium and began her first lecture. 2 years ago, aliens gave humanity a gift, a broken starship they considered worthless. Everyone said it could not be fixed. Everyone said we should be grateful for garbage. But humans do not work that way. We do not accept impossible. We do not give up just because something is hard. She pulled up a hologram of the Wandering Echo, showing her patchwork hull and hybrid systems. This ship should never have flown. She was held together by welds and improvisation and sheer stubbornness. But she did fly. And she fought. And she won. Because the people crewing her refused to accept limitations. They found solutions where none should exist. They made the impossible real. Lisa looked at the faces watching her, young people who would crew the Defiant and her sister ships, who would take humanity further into the galaxy. That is what I am going to teach you, not just how to operate these ships, but how to think like the crew of the Wandering Echo, how to solve problems that should not have solutions, how to fight in ways the enemy does not expect, how to be human in a galaxy that follows different rules. She smiled at them. The galaxy thinks it understands us now. They have seen one ship, won a few battles. They think they have figured us out. They are wrong. Because humanity is just getting started. We have 1 operational warship and 4 more under construction. In 5 years, we will have 20. In 10 years, we will have a fleet. The trainees leaned forward, captivated, and every single one of those ships will carry something the galaxy has never seen before. Not just human technology, but human spirit, human creativity, human refusal to accept that anything is truly impossible. The aliens gave us a broken starship thinking they were being generous. They had no idea they were giving us exactly what we needed. Lisa paused, letting her words sink in. They gave us a challenge, and humans love challenges. So here is my challenge to you. Learn everything I teach you. Become the best crews in the galaxy. And when you take your ships into space, remember the Wandering Echo. Remember that she was trash that became legend. Remember that humans do not play by the rules. She looked at each face, seeing determination reflected back. Remember that we rewrite them. 5 years had passed since Lisa Morgan first stood in the cargo bay of the Wandering Echo and declared they would make the impossible work. Now she stood in the command center of the Defiant, watching Earth's first proper battle fleet assemble in formation around her. 12 ships hung in space, each one a testament to human engineering and determination. The Defiant was the oldest now, her hull marked with the scars of dozens of engagements. Around her flew the Resolute, the Intrepid, the Dauntless, and 9 others, each named with words that meant stubborn refusal to give up. That was the human way. Fleet formation is complete, Kevin Liu reported from his station. He had transferred to the Defiant 2 years ago, preferring active service to research. All ships report ready for departure. Lisa nodded, still adjusting to her new role. After 3 years training cruise, Earth Command had recalled her to active duty with a promotion. She now held the rank of Admiral, commanding humanity's first battle fleet. It felt surreal. Communications, open a channel to all ships, she ordered. Her face appeared on the view screens of every vessel in the fleet. Thousands of crew members, all trained in the methods developed aboard the Wandering Echo, all ready to show the galaxy what humanity could do. This is Admiral Morgan. Today, we depart on our first official deployment as a unified fleet. The Galactic Council has requested our assistance with a situation in the outer reaches. Pirates have been raiding colony worlds and local defense forces have been unable to stop them. We are going to change that. She paused, choosing her words carefully. 5 years ago, the galaxy thought they understood us. They gave us a broken ship and assumed we would be grateful. They learned different. But that was one ship, one crew, one moment. Today we show them that was not luck. That was not a fluke. That was humanity. On the view screen, she could see crew members on other ships nodding, faces determined. We do not fight like they do. We do not follow their rules. We solve problems our way. And if the enemy expects us to be predictable, they are in for a very bad day. All ships prepare for quantum jump. We have people to protect. The fleet jumped together, 12 ships vanishing from Earth space in a ripple of distorted reality. The quantum drives, now fully understood and improved by human engineers, carried them across light years and hours instead of the days the original Wandering Echo had required. They emerged in the outer reaches 3 days later. The region was wild space, barely governed, where colony worlds struggled to survive far from galactic authority. The pirates operating here had grown bold, attacking settlements and stealing resources with impunity. That was about to end. Scanning for pirate activity, reported Danny Hoffman from the science station. He had joined the Defiance crew 6 months ago, unable to stay away from the action. Got multiple contacts. Looks like a raiding party hitting a colony on the 4th planet. 6 ships, medium tonnage. 6 ships against 12, Pete Sanders said from engineering. He had finally agreed to leave the Wandering Echo only when Lisa personally asked him to join the Defiant. Poor pirates, Lisa allowed herself a slight smile. All ships, battle formation Delta. Resolute and Intrepid flank left. Dauntless and Courage flank right. Remaining ships follow Defiant in direct approach. Let us introduce ourselves properly. The human fleet descended on the planet like avenging angels. The pirates never stood a chance. They were using outdated tactics against an enemy that did not fight by any known rules. Human railguns and missiles overwhelmed their shields through sheer volume of fire. Laser arrays cut through weakened armor. The battle lasted 7 minutes. 6 pirate ships became 6 expanding clouds of debris. The colony below was saved. Their attackers destroyed so quickly the colonists barely had time to evacuate to shelters. All enemy vessels destroyed, Sullivan reported from Tactical. He was serving as Lisa's second in command now, having transferred from the Wandering Echo when she took command of the fleet. No damage to our ships, no casualties. Lisa opened a channel to the colony. This is Admiral Lisa Morgan of the Earth Defense Fleet. The pirate threat has been eliminated. You are safe. The colonial governor, a Tarkian with blue feathers, appeared on screen looking stunned. Admiral, that was incredible. Those pirates have been terrorizing us for months. You destroyed them in minutes. That is what we do, Lisa replied simply. We will remain in system for 3 days to ensure no other threats emerge. Then we will continue our patrol. Over the following months, the human fleet moved through the outer reaches, systematically dismantling pirate operations that had existed for decades. The pirates learned to run when human ships appeared. Those who did not run learned the hard way why they should have, but not everyone was pleased with humanity's success. 6 months into the deployment, Lisa received a formal summons from the Galactic Council. She was to appear before them to answer questions about human military operations. She arrived on the Council world aboard the Defiant, escorted by 3 other ships. The Council chambers were enormous, designed to hold representatives from hundreds of species. Lisa stood at the center, feeling small despite her rank and accomplishments. The Council speaker, an ancient being whose species Lisa did not recognize, addressed her with a voice that echoed through the chamber. Admiral Morgan, humanity has been part of the galactic community for only 5 years. Yet in that time, you have become a significant military power. You have destroyed pirate groups, engaged in numerous combat operations, and deployed weapons that many consider primitive and brutal. The Council has concerns. Lisa stood straight, meeting the speaker's gaze. What concerns specifically? Your methods are aggressive, violent. You do not follow established protocols for engagement. You attack with a ferocity that most species abandoned millennia ago. Some council members fear that humanity is too dangerous, too unpredictable to remain in the community. Murmurs of agreement echoed through the chamber. Lisa felt anger rising but kept her voice calm. With respect, Speaker, We have only engaged in combat when defending others or responding to direct attacks. We have saved dozens of colonies and protected hundreds of civilian vessels. Our methods may be different, but our intentions are peaceful. A council member, a tall insectoid from a species known for military tradition, stood. Your intentions may be peaceful, but your capabilities are terrifying. You took a decommissioned ship and made it into a weapon. You built a fleet from nothing in 5 years. What will you do in 10 years? 20? Lisa took a breath. This was the moment she had been preparing for. You want to know what humanity will do? I will tell you. We will continue protecting those who need protection. We will defend our allies. We will explore space and learn and grow. And yes, we will do it our way because that is who we are. She gestured around the chamber. 5 years ago, your species gave us a broken ship. You thought you were being generous to primitives. You never imagined we would fix it, let alone turn it into something formidable. That says more about your assumptions than our intentions. The chamber erupted in argument. Some council members agreed with Lisa. Others demanded humanity be restricted or even expelled from the community. The debate raged for hours. Finally, Admiral Kethvar stood. His species held significant influence in the council, and his voice carried weight. Honored members, I have served with human crews for 2 years. I have fought beside them, trained with them, learned from them. Yes, they are aggressive. Yes, they fight differently than we do, but they are also loyal, honorable, and incredibly effective. He turned to face Lisa. Humanity does not fight like us because they are not us. They solve problems in ways we never considered because their minds work differently. That is not dangerous. That is valuable. The galaxy needs different perspectives, different approaches. Otherwise, we stagnate. The speaker raised a hand for silence. Admiral Kethvar makes a valid point. But the council requires assurance. Admiral Morgan, will humanity agree to limitations on fleet expansion and submit to regular inspections of your military capabilities? Lisa felt the trap closing. Agree and humanity would be forever limited, treated like dangerous children who needed watching. Refuse and risk expulsion from the galactic community. She made her choice. No, Lisa said firmly. Humanity will not accept restrictions no other species faces. We will not submit to inspections designed to ensure we stay weak and dependent. We came to the stars seeking friendship and cooperation, but we will not be treated as second-class members of this community. Shock rippled through the chamber. No one had expected such a direct refusal. However, Lisa continued, we will agree to transparency. Any council member is welcome to visit our shipyards. Observe our training, see our capabilities firsthand. We have nothing to hide. We will share our tactical innovations with allied species. We will continue serving with the Galactic Fleet, but we will do so as equals, not as subjects requiring supervision. The speaker was silent for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, they nodded. That is acceptable. Transparency without restriction. It is more than some members wanted, but less than others feared. The council will accept this compromise. Lisa left the council chambers uncertain if she had won or lost, but she had been honest and she had not backed down. That was the human way. Back aboard the Defiant, her command crew,